Jacqueline Hill was a 20-year-old college student who was walking home on the rainy evening of November 17, 1980. She was on her way home from a seminar that was hosted earlier that day and caught a bus to return to her students' hall. To Jacqueline, the day was a normal Monday. Little did she know that a prolific serial killer was sitting in wait for her to arrive. He attacked her from behind, walking a few paces before knocking her unconscious. But after being spotted by a fellow resident, he dragged her into the bushes, tore her clothes, and stabbed her several times with a yellow screwdriver. This would be the end of Jacqueline Hill's life, but the beginning of a race to identify the Yorkshire Ripper before he killed again. Peter Sutcliffe was born on June 2, 1946 in Bingley, England, to his parents Kathleen Frances Sutcliffe and his abusive father, John Sutcliffe. As a child, Peter was extremely antisocial and clung to his mother. His father was controlling and physically abusive with the whole family. Peter was a loner at school and he dropped out at age 15 and worked many manual jobs, including grave diggings, where he would play morbid pranks with the skeletons and rob graves. Peter got married to Sonia Cesarma at age 28 and later became a truck driver, which was his first solid job.
On May 5, 1981, Peter Sutcliffe was convicted of 13 counts of murder and 7 counts of attempted murder. He later confessed to the attempted murder of 14-year-old Tracy Brown in 1992, though he was never convicted of that crime. His killing started in 1975, but Peter had a history of violent behavior. One specific event was in 1969 when he beat a sex worker with a rock. The woman did not press charges. His killings consisted of brutal beating with a hammer, sometimes killing instantly, followed by stabbing and an assault of the body. He was an extremely disorganized killer, so the method of death was often different, and the level of cover and cleanup would vary from leaving a victim where he killed them to covering them up so they wouldn't be found for days to months. For each murder and attack, he would knock them unconscious or disorient them so that he could kill them. Each attack was brutally executed. He used a variety of weapons in his attacks, ranging from a screwdriver and ball-peen hammer to knives. He would frequently stab the torso and back of his victims. There was an 11-month break in the attacks between May 1978 and April 1979. During this time, Peter Sutcliffe's mom had died. Peter Sutcliffe only ever attacked women and girls, and many of his victims were sex workers. But some were not, and this caused an increased amount of panic for the community across northern England. The police deprioritized the investigation of the murders as they believed many of his victims were sex workers. It wasn't until a victim, Jacqueline Hill, who they deemed innocent, was killed that they started a full-throttle investigation. From them, he was dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper by the press. The manhunt for the Yorkshire Ripper was one of the biggest in British history. Because of the errors of the police, Sutcliffe could continue to murder for years. Sutcliffe was interviewed 9 times throughout the 5-year investigation, and they continued to let him go. There was a lot of media attention on the case in the later years of his killing, and a lot of sketches were done by the police to aid in the identification of the Ripper. A mysterious letter was sent to the police by a man masquerading as the Yorkshire Ripper. Later, it was determined that John Samuel Humble was the man who sent the letters. Peter Sutcliffe was finally arrested in January 1981 by a South Yorkshire police officer for driving with false license plates. He was then transferred into West Yorkshire police custody. After 2 days of intensive questioning, he abruptly confessed to being the Yorkshire Ripper. He said that God had sent him on a mission to kill sex workers, but this statement was debunked. Peter Sutcliffe pleaded not guilty on the counts of 13 murders, but was later convicted on all counts of murder and attempted murder. After Sutcliffe's conviction, he has been linked to many other murders and attacks. In jail, Sutcliffe was attacked by another inmate. He was diagnosed as clinically insane and was transferred to Broadmoor Secure Hospital in 1984. However, he was transferred back to prison in 2016 after he was ruled mentally fit to return. Peter Sutcliffe died on November 13, 2020 at age 74 due to COVID-related complications. And that ends the life of Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper.